Honey, we're going to need to get gas probably in the next 50 miles, maybe.
Oh, okay, well, I better start looking then.
Maybe less than 50 miles.
Okay, let's see what they got ahead.
All right.
It looks like
is there a TA up ahead?
I don't see that. I see a Citgo and a QT.
I like TA.
And I know there is a Pilot.
No.
Flying J.
How about maybe 10, 15 miles up ahead? Is there a TA?
About 30 miles ahead, there's a Love's.
I like Love's, but I like TA better.
TA is not available right now.
Oh, all right.
But there is a Buc-ee's up ahead.
Ooh, I like the Beaver.
Don't I know it?
Let's pull in, everybody. It's The Riveted with Chris and Gina.
Get some of those nuggets, baby.
Gina, we got a fun couple on with us tonight.
We can't stop the giggling already.
we did a little pre-record chat, and this is going to be a fun one.
It is.
Wow. So we've got a couple that we haven't met in person yet, but they're on as guests with us. We've seen them on the socials, and they've followed our podcast a little bit, and we can't wait to meet in person. But
we feel like we know them already.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you have a nice warm-up chat, and then,
and they're easy to talk to.
Oh, yeah, man, they're a lot of fun. I can't wait. So we have got Nick and Emily Fearman on with us. They go by CajunMile on all the socials and on YouTube, and they are on our podcast. Welcome to The Riveted with Chris and Gina, you two.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We're excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you on.
Yeah.
This is gonna be fun.
It's a good time whenever we can connect with new friends through digital media and social and all the stuff, and just immediately bond on the Airstream thing, but then have fun chats kind of leading up to this recording, and we're happy to do this. So thanks for participating. So what part of the world are you guys in right now?
We are currently in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We're just south of Marquette.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
So y'all had to cross over that big damn bridge.
Depends on which way they went.
We just chatted with somebody else from Michigan that is very comfortable with that bridge, too.
Oh, yeah.
What are you saying? You're not comfortable? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, well, I went over it, but I wasn't happy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That bridge I didn't think was too bad. We were in Mackinac City for a week, and we got to prepare ourselves for it because where we were staying, we were just watching that bridge every night. And so
wow.
we had 7 days to figure out we were driving over it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not scared of heights, but there's been a few instances where I've driven across bridges with the Airstream in tow, and I just didn't have a good, warm, fuzzy feeling about it. And that one was one of them. But I made it.
I don't know how many people really stop to think about crossing over bridges to have a warm, fuzzy feeling. I just do it. I don't think about it.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think about it much, but the what is it? The bridge over it's from New Orleans to
Lake Pontchartrain.
The Lake Pontchartrain Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Is 20 miles.
Yeah.
Yes.
That one just it freaks you out.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I could see that being the case. Yeah. So you guys, you're full-time RVers, right?
We are.
Yeah.
We've been on the road for a little over a year now.
Very cool.
He's talking about Lake Pontchartrain, so that brings me to Louisiana, and then their name.
It might not have anything to do with that, Gina.
Oh, you don't think so?
That one way before. I thought we were going to lead more into that one, but go for it.
Yeah,
No, I don't like to wait. I like to get right. I like everything on the table off the bat.
I had a very specific line of questioning that I was going for.
Oh, well, okay. All right. All right, listener. We are going to pause so Chris can talk.
I don't want to
Go
now.
for it, honey.
No.
Go.
I'm interested now in the name. I would love to know about the name.
Well, I guess technically you like to ask their entry point first. So
I'm going out of order this time.
All right.
We are winging it big time.
Man, are you going to sleep good tonight or what?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Now we've got them confused on what we're asking.
No, I know. I'm on it.
Okay.
Trails.
Yes.
I followed the whole conversation.
Good, Emily.
She's just waiting for us to shut up.
Go ahead, Emily.
Back in like 2014 or 2015, we were doing triathlons and running and that kind of stuff. And that's back before, all the YouTubes. And we wanted to do a blog online. And so we wanted kind of a catchy name. And I'm from South Louisiana, which is how we got the Cajun. And Nick grew up in Denver, which is the Mile High City. So we took Cajun and Mile and combined them. And it also meant, like, because we were running and doing triathlons, like, it's a lot of distance and we travel. So, like, a lot of distance covered, so miles, but it's just Cajun Mile.
I like it.
I like it. I was not expecting the combination of two states like that, but that makes a lot of sense. And that's cool.
Yeah. And she's first. So she's, winning the race.
So what I think, yeah, that's true. What I think is cool too about that name, and I'm not throwing off by any means on any very popular or successful or just fun YouTube influencers, but you guys came up with that name and it didn't have anything to do with the RV lifestyle at the time.
For us it was like, it's something we've been holding on to for years. We started with the blog and then moved into like Facebook, Instagram. When the first Airstream we bought, they asked for the name, you name it, and it's like, let's name it Cajun Mile. Let's keep it going.
Yeah.
So everything just became Cajun Mile. Emily runs a business, and the business is Cajun Mile, and just everything kind of follows along with it because we like it.
That's really perfect. Cool. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of unique names in social media and YouTube and stuff for full-time RVers or travel channels and things like that. And so I just had a preconceived notion that it had to do with your traveling lifestyle, but that's really cool. I like it. We enjoy.
They were traveling before. They just had somebody chasing them. They were running.
yeah. Oh yeah.
That's great.
That's the only reason why I'd want to run like that. Yeah. Somebody was chasing me. So you guys both did that, or just one of you, the triathlons?
We both did the triathlons and running.
Did you meet kind of that way?
No, we met at work. Nick was my customer.
Oh,
how about that?
There's got to be some kind of HR thing in there, right?
Could be.
Yeah.
That was all approved.
I don't know that it was ever approved. We were same company, but we worked so far apart from each other. I think we started as customer and vendor, but then we ended up so far apart from each other. It was more like, hey, we work at the same company in roughly the same division.
Yeah.
And went from there.
How about
That's
that?
Great.
That is neat.
What was kind of neat about it, and I think it's neat, is so we knew each other. I actually got transitioned to a position overseas, and so I was 10 hours ahead. So I was finishing my day when Emily was starting her day, and she just happened to be one of the few people that I just continued to talk to every day, in the morning and the evening. So it was great.
That's cool.
Yeah. So you know where my mind went on that, right?
Vegas.
Uh-huh.
Oh no.
Oh, what?
Long distance sex.
Oh, Gina.
Sex.
No, Gina. It's too early in the podcast. We're inside of 10 minutes still here.
Oh, well, you can cut that and put it at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he stayed on the phone with her in the evenings, and he was overseas. Absolutely.
Yeah, probably so. Well,
they did not deny it.
We don't need to delve into it that deep yet.
There were lots of fun conversations.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's a great answer.
That's a wonderful answer.
I like that.
Gina and I mean, it wasn't as extreme of a time difference, but there was a short period of time where Gina was in Las Vegas getting our daughter settled into college and stuff, and I was back in North Carolina working, and there was the time difference because she worked super early, right? How did it work?
I had to be there at 5.
So like,
and you had to be at work at 8, and so we could talk to each other on the way to work.
Yeah, that's right. So we were both going to work at the same time, but it was super early for her and 8 o'clock for me.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's
worked out.
It's nothing like what y'all did. I don't know.
Now that you're saying
that,
that,
it's like, that out loud.
Why did you even bring that up?
I don't know. It just
we went through a period where we both worked at for Amazon for several years, and I worked night shift, Emily worked days, it was really fun that, we saw each other as I was walking in the door or we saw each other when she was walking out the door. That was what, 2 full years?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Wow. Y'all lived together then?
Oh yeah.
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 We were married.
Sounds like a blessing.
Okay. Gina. That's not so.
No.
Okay,
I'm
so
just kidding.
So
do not send me an ugly message because I said that.
This is an Airstream podcast. Are we going to talk about Airstream?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, tell us about your Airstream journey, like where you guys were in your life when you decided to get an Airstream, and like, the compelling reasons why. We call it like an entry point, basically. What everybody's got that, and for different reasons. And what was y'all's?
So it was 2018. We lived as you and I talk, or as we talk more, you will find out. I'll tell you what year it was and then where we lived, because we moved a lot around the country.
Yeah.
But it was 2018. We lived in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we had some cousins visit who had just bought an R-Pod, and they were convincing us, because we did all the triathlon and enjoyed being outdoors and hiking and biking and all that stuff, that we would probably really enjoy camping. Neither one of us really camped as kids or when we were younger. I mean, like a couple of tent camps here and there, but nothing, our parents didn't own campers or anything like that. And so Nick was, as he talked about a minute ago, he was working night shift. I was working day shift. So what we first started looking at was a tab.
A teardrop.
A teardrop. But like a bigger one that you could like stand up in or partially stand up in kind of thing. And so while he was working night shift, I went to all of the RV dealerships in Las Vegas and started looking at campers. And I probably looked at anywhere from 50 to 100 campers. And one day he had the day off. And so we went on a Saturday and I showed him like the top 6 or 7 campers. So we drove around Las Vegas and I kind of rated them, and I had them, had my list. And so we went to the second to last place and I showed him the camper, and he was kind of, every camper, he was like, yeah, this is nice, but it's not exactly what I want. And I said, there's one more. And he was like, really? And I was like, yes, there's one more that I have to show you, but it's going to cost a lot. And it's completely different than anything we've seen. And he's like, okay, let's go look at it. And so we drove next door to the Airstream dealership, and I wasn't familiar with Airstream. Like, I probably had heard it before, but I didn't know how iconic it was or anything like that. And they had a Basecamp on the lot. And the Basecamp, they manufactured in 2007 and 2008. Then they stopped, and then they reintroduced it in 2017. And this was a 2018 model in April of 2018. And we walked into the Basecamp, and if it's very much like if people aren't familiar with the Basecamp, it's 16 feet, and on the right is the panoramic windows in the kitchen, and then to the left is a dinette that converts into the bed. And just looking at those panoramic windows in the kitchen, I think we were both just completely sold. Like, we couldn't go back and look at another camper.
Yeah.
After that.
I bet not.
That's kind of what happened.
Yeah, for me, it was how solid the construction was compared to anything else we had looked at. Everything we looked at, I felt like this is flimsy. It's not well put together, or not that it wasn't well put together, but it wasn't as well handled as the Basecamp felt. And so I fell in love with the Basecamp near immediately.
Yeah. Such a unique style. Yeah. I mean, it's just inside and out both. It's just so unique looking.
Right.
Yeah. And we got stopped with the Basecamp everywhere we went. We went on a 2 or 3 week trip from Colorado to Louisiana, back through Texas, Oklahoma, whatever. And I would say probably at every second gas station, we'd have someone stop us and they're like, what is that? Can I look at it? Can we walk through it?
Yeah.
It was incredible how many people had either never seen it or just were so fascinated by it that they wanted to take a look at it. And I'll say, like, we're in we're in our 27 foot now, and I miss the base camp pretty frequently.
No.
There's a lot of unique design elements to that thing, and that plus the cosmetic style is so unique, you know.
Well, the base camp's designed to live outside of the base camp, so you know your living room is expanded by if you have the tents or whatever that you add onto it. Did y'all have that or?
We tried the tents. We put them up in Las Vegas at Lake Mead, and we went inside. And about 20 minutes later, a storm came through and blew it off the back of the basement.
Oh no!
They were the original tent. So we had the original tents that they did in 2017 and 18. Then they changed them after that. But the tents had a tube, like a rubber tube, that slid into the Keter rail. And they were a challenge to get on there.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later, the windstorm. We didn't use the tents very frequently. What we tended to do is really just be outside most of the time.
Yeah.
Right. So with you guys living in Vegas and camping in that general area and stuff, did you ever go to dry camp or boondock up on that mesa outside of Overton, Nevada, on the very northern end of Lake Mead and like close to Valley of Fire? Did you ever go up there?
I don't think we ever did that. We did Valley. No, we didn't. We actually never got a spot at Valley of Fire. They were always full.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we were at Lake Mead pretty frequently.
Right.
Well, what he's talking about is in Overton, Nevada, and it's past the entrance. So if you're on the road of Lake Mead and you're headed towards the Valley of Fire, you go past the entrance, and it's another 2 miles maybe.
This is
past
coming
that
from
entrance.
this is coming from south to north. Like
Yes.
if you're on the southern end of the lake and you're going north, and you're basically going out of the Lake Mead recreational area on the north side, and Valley of Fire's up there. Yeah, this is a little farther up on the right, and there's this mesa up there that is.
They used to call it Poverty Heights, but then they changed the name to Upper and Lower Mesa, right?
I think so, but yeah, we love that spot up there, and really, if you depending on where you get a spot to park on that mesa, you can look off into the distance to the west, and you can see a little bit of Valley of Fire.
You can, the red rocks and stuff. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's awesome. We love it out there. I mean, we lived out in Vegas for a little bit too, but actually about 10 years sooner than you guys did. And
time flies.
And then we've spent a lot of time in Vegas as Airstreamers too. We've been out there a bunch. We love it.
We stopped through earlier this year, and it was our first time back at Lake Mead, probably in 3 or 4, it was at least 5 years, I guess.
Yeah.
And we were coming out of a rally. We had been at a rally where we were dry camping for 2 weeks. And it was like, we need a place where we can hook up to water and electricity and dump our tanks and all that kind of stuff. And we were like, Lake Mead's right there.
Yep.
Let's go do that because we're familiar with it. So we were happy to get back there for at least a week there.
Yeah.
It was a nice place to go. But we've never been to Overton. It just made our list of places we need to get back to.
Oh, absolutely. It's nice there.
It is. I mean, it's
a little old small town.
Yeah, but desolate, dry camping, boondocking type desert landscape, but it's beautiful. I mean, every direction you look's awesome. And
you can pull off the road as far as you want, or you can park right up next to the road, whichever. Yeah. But it's nice.
And we will be right back.
I'd like to take a moment to tell you about Patreon and how you can help support the Riveted with Chris and Gina podcast. Patreon is a simple, interactive way to support the people who make the content you love. There's no value that can be assigned, so you can enjoy these inspiring stories of Airstream enthusiasts from all quarters of the USA. But there are associated costs with operating the website and hosting the podcast, in addition to the large amount of time it takes to curate and edit each weekly episode. For as little as $5 a month, the equivalent of a cup of coffee or a beer, you can help the Riveted with Chris and Gina become the podcast of the Airstream community. Becoming a patron also means you will get first-to-know details, free merch, invites to special Zoom-based hangouts, and more. The link to Patreon is in this episode description. Thanks in advance for your support and love. See you down the road.
And now back to the fun. So you mentioned that you're in your 27 now. So you got rid of the base camp and you have 27-foot Airstream now. So tell us about that.
Well, so
Oh, this sounds interesting.
No, in 2022, I believe we started. Well, let me back up. We did some warranty work in 2019 on the Basecamp at the biggest dealership, and they had, at the time, it was a Tommy Bahama at the hatch. And so I was just kind of wandering around the parking lot, and I fell in love with the hatch, and so that never left my mind. And so in 2022, kind of 2023, we decided that we were going to potentially, we wanted to go on much longer trips. With the Basecamp, it's so small. We have 3 not so small dogs. And so we needed room to be able to do longer trips. And so we were talking about a 25 or 27 foot because I wanted the hatch. We wanted the hatch. And because we had that with the Basecamp, right? They have the like the normal entry door, but then in the back they have the back door where the bed is, and so you can open that up at night and just like we watch Lake Mead or whatever it is, the forest or whatever is behind you. So it was really nice. So we started looking at 25 and 27 foot with the hatch, and so we ultimately decided on the 27 foot because our intention was to do longer trips and then potentially go full time. We picked it up in 2023, April of 2023, and on May 1st of 2024, we went full time. So it didn't last very long for the long trips. I think we did 2 trips in it before we went full time. So it was a pretty fast transition.
It's it'll do that to you.
It sure
won't it?
Yes, it will. It's Airstream's fault.
Fell in love.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So in April of 24, we put our house in the market with the intention of moving to Florida, and we had a camping trip planned with family. So we said, well, we'll sell the house. It sold faster than we expected. Sold the house, and said, well, we'll do this. Like 3. It was kind of going to extend our trip a little bit, like a 3 or 4 week camping trip. We'll go find a house in Florida. We went to Florida, never really found anything we liked, and we're like just kind of looking at each other after 6 weeks. So the trip for 5 or 6 weeks plus 6 weeks in Florida. And we said, well, maybe we just keep traveling and don't find a house. So that's kind of how we ended up full time. I tell everyone it was unintentional full time because we wanted to do big trips, but we weren't really planning on being full time. But now it's just been so much fun. It's hard to think about stopping.
Right. So where do you domicile then?
We domicile out of Florida.
Okay. Yeah, we do too.
Yeah, we do.
Mm-hmm.
We're Florida. We're neighbors.
Yeah. We're neighbors.
Yeah.
I like it.
If we use the same service, we probably are neighbors.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Probably.
So I need to do a quick rewind because I just want to ask this, and we can talk more about your dogs in a moment, more specifically. But so let's talk about the sleeping arrangements with 3 dogs and you guys in the Basecamp when you had it. What was that like?
So in the Basecamp, all 3 of our dogs were a little bit younger at the time, and they all slept in the bed with us. So that's nearly a king bed, though.
I was gonna say, so the difference between the Basecamp bed and the queen short in the 27 foot is the Basecamp is wall to wall bed. So there's only have an entry point at the foot of the bed. So there's no one can roll off the bed. Whereas in the queen short, you've got edges of the bed that people can roll off. But we had our sheepdog was still a puppy. He was like a year old.
He was probably only 40 or 50 pounds at the time.
Oh my.
Only 40 or 50 pounds.
Yeah, I don't want to know what he is now then.
So a big bed in the Basecamp, you guys plus the dogs. I mean, I guess when you put all that in there, it is a big space.
The Basecamp.
I think it was big enough and it didn't encroach on anyone in the Basecamp. It was big enough that everybody had their own spot and it was not terrible.
And was it?
But I think I hear a butt in there now.
Well, so now with the dogs so one of our dogs is 15 and a half years old. And so she doesn't jump on anything. She gets lifted into the Airstream. So she doesn't even try to come in bed. So she sleeps on the floor near the bathroom shower area. We have a little mat down for her. Our 8-year-old German Shorthair has decided that there's not enough space for her in the bed. So she sleeps at the dinette. And the only dog that still sleeps in bed pretty frequently is
The biggest one of all.
the sheepdog that's 65 pounds. I mean, the whole thing, it was in the base camp, it was crowded and it was hard to get the dogs to go anywhere other than the bed.
Yeah.
Now it's like you can even get rid of Bosley. Bosley's the sheepdog. We can even get rid of him on some nights where it's like, hey, get out of bed, go somewhere else.
Yeah. So like in the base camp, whenever it was bedtime, did everybody have their same spot, or was it every night the dogs were vying for position or in a different place, or like what was that like? Was it
Everyone kind of has their own spot. One of them would go up against the wall. Another one would go kind of at the foot of the bed. And then I don't remember where Bosley would sleep. One of them would sleep in between us.
Yeah.
And then there's, once that bed is made, it's just kind of like the entryway to your Airstream. Like you've only got a few feet wide by a few feet long. There's not much room. So every once in a while, one of them would get fed up and go lay down on the floor, but they couldn't like lay under the bed because, that's where everything was.
Right.
But they all kind of had their own little spot on, in certain areas.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I have flashbacks to being a little kid, and I had 2 stepbrothers. My parents were separated, and I would go to their house on every other weekend or whatever, and I'd get picked up and I'd be with my 2 stepbrothers, and we'd be like, all right, I'm calling the front seat, I'm riding shotgun or like, there was
what does that have to do with dogs?
There was a bed, there was a second bedroom. 2 of us would have to sleep together in a bed, and then the third would sleep on the couch. And when we were younger, we wanted to sleep, on the couch, but once we got a little older, it's backwards. When we were younger, we wanted to sleep in the bed, but once we got a little older, we wanted to do the couch. So it was like, I got the couch this weekend.
So what does that have to do with the dogs?
Because I was thinking maybe in the base camp, like the dogs, like each night they wanted to sleep behind Emily, or they wanted to sleep behind Nick, and so like they were vying for position, each trying to get to that spot. So
you just compared yourself as a child to these animals.
Well, I mean,
I think that's what I just heard. Did y'all just hear him do that?
I guess. I mean,
that's what I heard.
Okay.
The concept is the same.
Does anybody else on this podcast think that that's kind of weird?
No,
I didn't know where you were going with that.
No, I was in the mind.
Go ahead,
in the mind of a dog is what I was wondering. Like where I was going.
I think the concept works because, so I'd say now in the 27-foot with the queen bed, there is a little bit more jockeying for position because if German Shorthair pointers, they don't have a lot of like warmth for their fur. So on cold nights, the Shorthair pointer and the sheepdog do fight a little bit for where they're going to sleep in the bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That does happen.
I can see that being the case.
So Nick and Emily, do y'all ever fight where y'all are going to get to sleep in the bed?
Frequently, when the dogs are taking over, then that happens.
Wow.
Well,
see, this is all foreign to me and Chris because we haven't had pets in a very long time, but we've never had pets in our bed.
Yeah, we've not.
So this is all new to us.
Yeah, not only no pets in the bed when we had a home, but I mean, obviously, we've never traveled with a pet in our Airstream.
Never.
So we're pet lovers. We like pets
as long as they belong to someone else.
Yeah. Well, I'm just encouraged in this conversation to hear 2 happily married people purchasing Airstreams that have regular beds,
a queen bed,
that they don't have twins.
Yeah.
Imagine what these logistics would be like if you had twins.
Well,
I wouldn't have a bed.
Yeah, I was going to say, just put the dogs on one side and the humans on the other, and there you go.
I mean, we've chatted with a lot of people that got twin beds, and there's nothing wrong with it. We're not downing them at all, but we've had to delve into the conversation about sexy time and all that kind of stuff, and it seems to me like for Gina and I, we would not have twins.
I'm
But-
surprised you haven't asked them about it with the dogs.
Well, we'll get to that.
So my favorite commentary, we were getting some work done on our Airstream. So we had some batteries added. And when I was having the initial conversation with it was Ronnie at Airstream Nuts and Bolts. But one of the things Ronnie said was, "Are you guys in the twin or the queen?" And I said, "Oh no, we've got a queen." And he said, "Yeah, I don't know how people with twins do it. I don't want to do conjugal visits."
Yeah,
Mhm.
one of my favorite-
visits.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I like
One
that.
of my
like that
favorite
too.
sayings there.
Yeah.
Well,
And then
when
the other good one came up on Airstream Addicts recently was, what was it? It was called stacking.
How do you temporarily stack two, or can you temporarily stack two people on a twin bed?
Temporarily
I
stacked.
didn't see that one, but yeah.
Man,
So Chris asked another couple that we were talking to back in the wintertime, I guess.
Yeah.
It was Rocky Road and Vanilla episode about their twin beds in sexy time. And that got a lot of attention.
yeah, it did.
And Chris, we had some questions. Was that couple weeks ago? We had some questions about that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was funny. But when we went to buy our Airstream, or we were in the process of it and coming down to the final decision, our sales guy, a young guy, he had to been 30 something, I guess, mid 30s maybe. And he kept pushing for us to get the twins. He said, everybody wants the twins. It'll be easier for you to sell if you have the twins. Don't get the queen, blah, blah, blah. And I finally had to tell him, I just put my hand on his shoulder and I said, listen, I'm only going to say this one time, but I still like my husband right now. I want to sleep in the same bed with him.
Right now.
Well, there's moments,
Okay.
and we've had this thing for 8 years now. So yeah.
Forgive me if I didn't hear it when you said it, but you said 27, but what trim did you get? International or Flying Cloud or what?
We have the Flying Cloud 27 FBQ
Yeah.
with the hatch.
Yeah.
Yep.
The queen with the
Very nice.
Yep. Very cool. Yeah. We,
And you're digging the hatch, right? You like being able to pull that screen down and having the door open?
We do like the hatch a lot. It's very nice for that. And then an unexpected surprise was it's nice to open it and like clean. Like you can get all the dirt out if you open the back hatch and like
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You can almost get a leaf blower and just blow all the dust out.
I was getting ready to say that very same thing. Like with the new battery powered leaf blowers, you can just get in there and just blow it out. You don't, I
It
mean,
puts a new perspective on cleaning it, doesn't it?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
one of the I was just gonna go like to the hatch. One of the cooler places was like Eureka Recreation in Kentucky, and we were right up against a lake. I can't remember what lake it was, but I know that was Eureka Recreation area. But that was one of my favorite places because there's some sites there where we could have butted the back of the trailer basically over the water and opened the hatch.
wow.
We didn't have that spot, but we were probably 10 feet from the water, and it was beautiful.
that's
that would have
awesome.
been very nice, yeah.
How's that screen do for bugs?
I think it does pretty good.
Yeah, it's-
I'm not gonna do it here because there's so many bugs, but most of the time I don't notice anything getting
Yeah,
through.
that's good.
No, I think it's the same one, like same concept as the one that we had in the Basecamp as well, and we never had any issues with it.
That's good.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet the UP does have some bugs this time of year, huh?
Oh, they have some monster bugs right now.
Are they like nuisance biting bugs or just like gnatty kind of things?
Excuse me. They have mosquitoes that are as big as the ones in Louisiana,
Oh boy.
flies, and then it's not the midge flies here, but like it's some kind of
They're like
gnat
little gnatty
too or
things.
something. So it's kind of a combination. But the mosquitoes are pretty fierce.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be outside right now then.
Well, I mean, what is it? It's late June, getting ready to be late
Mhm.
June. I mean, we were up there in mid to late July, wasn't it? Wasn't that when we were up
Mhm.
there? Yeah. I mean, now that I think about it, it was buggy, but it's beautiful
Mhm.
up there.
It's very pretty.
It is
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah. What's been your like? Do you guys have a planned out kind of travel schedule, or do you kind of wing it somewhat, or like what's your routing like for where you've been so far since you've been full time?
Well, last year, I like to say that we chased 95 in the summer and 35 in the winter.
Ooh.
So this year we tried to not do that and move further north in the summer to have better days. This is just it's an unexpected high temp the last couple days, but it's the normal high up here is like 77, so it'll cool off in the next day or so. Last year we did a lot of back and forth across the country and not a lot of planning, just kind of more spur of the moment filling in spots, because we did like I said earlier, we were unintentionally full-time, so we had vacations planned and holidays planned and stuff like that, so we kind of bounced around with no real direction. This year we're trying to be a little bit better with that. Typically I guess we plan about 3 months out, but that kind of bit us last month.
Yeah, so normally we have like big events planned and then kind of fill in the places. But so last month we got bit because we had our 3 months planned. We were going to go meet some family on the West Coast, and we had 2 of our windows blow out. So
No way.
one of our the first one happened. We were on the road in Kansas on I-70 in Kansas on our way to Colorado, and it was one of our windows or opening windows near the dinette, and I just kind of looked in the rear view and I could see the little sticks hanging out, and I was like, that's weird. And so we pulled over, and that one had busted out. And
so while you were driving.
Yeah, that was while we were driving is when we noticed it.
So
it was like 30-40 mile an hour crosswind. It was really windy that day.
Oh boy.
And you had the window down and locked and everything, and it still broke off?
So after talking to one of the Airstream dealerships, they think that we may have not locked it, but I will tell you, I have a very extensive checklist. So I do the inside, Nick works on the outside. And while I can't definitively say that I checked that window, I believe I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I am not aware that the window was open. We believe it was closed and closed properly, but I can't definitively say that it was.
So now, did you ask Nick if he went back into the Airstream for some reason and unlocked that window?
Oh, that could have been.
I didn't do it.
Did you?
It wasn't me. I didn't do it. I wouldn't normally open a window, but I think in our minds, we just have no idea what caused that first window to break. We just, we've gone through it over and over again. It's very feasible that we just didn't lock that window that day. We also think we've talked to a few people about just the pressure differential. That with the high winds and a big truck passing by, it may have just been the pressure differential that pulled the window in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Someone threw out
rocks
that the wind was so high it just could have been peppered by some small rocks. So we've heard a lot of different options on that one for what may have happened. We still we really don't know, but I think we were lucky enough that that night we were staying at a Harvest Host, and they handed us a garbage bag and cardboard so we could get it all taped up, and we didn't have to have an open window. But then, I mean, the hard part of this story is, so we got to Colorado, we made phone calls, and so Woodland Airstream had the window in stock, and they shipped it to us, and we had it, I don't know, 3 or 4 days later. And it's a simple install. So if anyone ever has like one of those opening windows break, they're not hard to get back in. They come with all the hardware. Yeah. It's super easy. But the day we got it installed, the day after we got that one installed, we had to move campgrounds. And so we moved from the Chatfield campground to the Cherry Creek campground. So they're 10 or 15 miles apart. And when we got to the Cherry Creek campground, our rear panoramic right behind the one that was broken was shattered and broken out. So
Oh,
we
Oh my
we had
gosh.
gotta
just
be
been
kidding.
facing this window. And at that point, I mean, people have thrown out some other things. We still think they're both related to each other, either that pressure differential or the rocks kind of kicking up. But we've also had someone threw up that maybe someone was mowing the lawn. We don't think so because it had snowed that day, but
Oh my gosh.
who knows?
Is it
Mowing the snow.
mow the snow, baby?
So
But here we were again. Like,
yeah.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that just has got to suck that you go through that deal with the one and think, oh well, that was really smooth and simple and easy. That we took care of that easy, and then boom, here comes another one right behind it.
Yeah,
And it was
in this case,
snowing.
because it's
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and it actually that it only snowed that day, and then after that it didn't snow. I don't think it snowed again.
It didn't snow again. No, it was cool. It was cool at night, but I mean the furnace was running quite a bit. It runs a lot when there's a 3-foot by 2-foot hole in your camper.
I would say so.
It runs quite a bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I think the hard part with this one is we knew we weren't gonna, because it's that panoramic and it's riveted
Mhm.
in.
Yep.
We knew we weren't gonna fix it. So we chased a little bit, and we talked to Vinny's North Bay, we talked to Vinny's in Tallahassee, and it ended up that the fastest place we could get it done was at the mothership. When we called them on, I think we called them on Monday, so it happened on Saturday. We called them on Monday, and they were like, "Can you be here tomorrow?"
Whoa.
Wow.
Wow.
I was like, no, I'm in Colorado. I'm not going to get to Ohio tomorrow. But he worked with our schedule and got us worked in. It was about a week and a half later, something like that.
That's
And
impressive.
Yeah, and they did. I mean, they did an awesome job. They did the whole thing in probably 6 hours. They came in. If you've been to the mothership, this was our first experience there. But at 7 a.m., they come pick up the trailer and they work on it, and then they brought it back to us at about 1 o'clock with the window fixed and ready to go. And we were just we were kind of overall so impressed with their service, the way they handled it.
Yeah, they do a good job.
That was great.
Absolutely.
So back to your question is we had 3 months planned. We had to reschedule all of that, and now we've got basically we're a month or two from there. So normally in the 1 to 2 or 3 month range is about how far out.
Yeah.
I actually plan.
Well,
I don't wing it as much as you guys do.
Well, that's no problem. I mean, it's a we still wing it, but the thing we have done is the winging is slower, I guess. I don't know how to describe that, but like we used to move
That's
a lot more
because you've gotten
frequently.
older.
That does not have anything to do with it. We've realized that we need to stay places at a little longer period of time.
We can always come back.
Well, we can, yeah, but
So we've made, here's something that we've done, and we're committing ourselves to doing some volunteer work while we're here or at that place, and that is hopefully going to lock us in to making those plans work, because we don't do well with plans. But we did make plans to go to international this year.
Yeah.
And we are
Nice.
we volunteer to help on some things that they need help with, and hopefully that's going to lock us in.
well, yeah, you
till
can't
we
volunteer and
actually
then
get there
and
when
then
we're supposed to be there.
decline the volunteerism.
Yes. No.
No. Well,
no. See, we're just not good at planning, because something happens a week before, a couple days before, and we're like, oh no, we got to go do that. So
yeah.
it's hard for us to plan.
You guys going to be at international?
We are very excited. It'll be our first international.
Oh, same with us.
This
That's
will be our
cool.
first one.
I have it on good authority that we get a special little tag for our name badge to let everybody know that it's our first time.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Like it's.
So it's going to say first timer.
I don't know what it's going to say. I mean, first timer.
Help me. Is that what it's going to say?
Maybe I'm not sure, but yeah,
it'll be fun.
I have heard through the grapevine that will happen there.
Yes.
But, well, that's good. We'll
we can do it together.
yeah, we can. We'll get through it.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're we're excited for international. Get to meet some folks and get to see you there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very excited.
The story you just gave about the windows is, I hate to hear it, but I mean, it sounds like you definitely got through it, fairly easily outside of it affecting your planned schedule and that kind of stuff. But our little similar story to that is shower doors. We've had 3 shower doors shatter.
Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and we've even changed the type of door. Just the in some of the Airstreams they have like, I don't know, it's like a little mesh pattern or something through the door, and then in some Airstreams they have the grooved vertical lines through it.
Yeah.
So we had the kind of mesh thing not mesh, but like little design
like
going
an
all the way
opaque
through it,
kind of
whatever.
thing,
Yeah. And then that one broke. So then we thought, okay, well, let's try the other door. And then that broke. So we went back to the older door because we liked it better than the vertical lines, and it broke again. So we're like, okay, it doesn't matter what we put up there.
But we had the reason I bring that up is because we were in Indiana, and we had one break, and we couldn't find one at a dealer anywhere around, and we decided to just head towards Jackson Center. They didn't have time to install it, but they sold me one, and so I was able to buy a shower door from the service department at Jackson Center.
We installed it there.
We installed it,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and the frame of our old one and everything we threw in the Jackson Center dumpster. But I had to do all the legwork. But I mean, it
wasn't that bad.
It wasn't. It's super easy to do. But
he's got it down pat now.
Yeah, we've had 3 shower doors shatter, and we don't run our tire pressures at max, and we don't keep anything in the shower that would bump against it or hit it or anything like that.
Well, we've now talked to a couple of people who's had the shower door.
Oh, there's been several people with
and
shower
it
doors
doesn't
shatter.
just crack or break. It's like it exploded because there is like little pieces everywhere.
Yeah, it's that kind of glass that breaks into little teeny tiny pieces. But
teeny tiny.
Yep.
That was the nice part about the opening window is because you have that screen, so none of the glass came in, and we thought we were super lucky. And then when the corner window broke, there was no screen, so all of that glass came in.
Oh yeah.
Even after they changed it out, it was like 3 weeks of us still finding like little bits and pieces of glass everywhere.
I bet so.
Wait, about 2 years from now, you'll find a piece.
Yeah, it'll shake out from under a cabinet or something. Well, enough about all the challenges. Let's talk a minute about like your, even back to the Basecamp days, whatever, it doesn't matter. But like, what's your epic experiences? What have you loved the best so far with having an Airstream in your life, travel wise?
For me, it's just the fact that Emily and I get to travel together. We get to go wherever we want with the dogs and see new things. Like I look at the surprising places. So because we kind of just choose things along our route. So we have kind of major stops planned, and then we plan in between those just wherever we're going to be. And like, I think last week is a good example of that, where we were just trying to figure out where to go next. And we ended up in Sault Ste. Marie, and what did we spend an hour at the Soo Locks watching these, giant ships being raised and lowered between Lake Huron and Superior.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not an experience that I don't think I would have had that experience otherwise. I think that's really cool. That we're able to kind of go do those things. And I think it's the do things and meet people. I think we've met some amazing people along the way, just by virtue of having the Airstream or by virtue of traveling.
Yeah. Well, to your point about Sault Ste. Marie is like, maybe you could have gone by there and visited that destination some other way of travel or some other kind of vacation, but would you have slowed down that much to spend that much time to do that?
No.
Without knowing that my home is right here with me, and I've I've got this kind of mindset or lifestyle of full-time travel, and I don't need to rush it.
No, not at all. I think for me, the base camp, I didn't know this at the time. Like, I didn't know how often people would stop us. Like Nick said earlier, like people would stop us at gas stations and say like, hey, can we tour your camper? They would, if they'd see you going in at campgrounds, I had people try and follow us into the camper, like, hey, can we just look inside? And so knowing of the brand and how iconic it is now, I didn't know it back then. But knowing that and just kind of the attention that it gets is something that is surprising to me.
Yeah.
Because we've had people ask us if our 2023 camper is a 1960s. And then we've had people ask us if it was like, they're like, that's brand new, right? I'm like, well, it's a couple years old, you know?
Yeah.
And so there's no, because there's not much change over the years, there's no distinction of like what age it is. I mean, to people who are very familiar with the Airstream it is, but you know, the general public, there isn't. And so it's a conversation starter a lot of times. And I think that's what Nick was saying is like, we get to meet people because they're not scared to come talk to us about our base camp or our flying cloud.
Yeah.
They were always willing to come over and have conversations, and we were always willing to do the impromptu tours and the just kind of hang out.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
We talked about that with somebody else. We said, you know, there's nothing magnetic about Airstreams except for the people that it draws to it.
That's
yes.
true. Yeah.
Yes.
So let's go just a tad deeper on that comment about you saying that when you had the base camp, you didn't really realize at that time about the brand history and how iconic it was and that kind of stuff. But like when you guys were up at Jackson Center, did you go through the Heritage Center by chance or take that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So like, what do you guys, I mean, think about it. You've owned 2 Airstreams now. One obviously very unique design all to itself. Your current one is, resembles what a lot of the Airstreams look like. But here we are in 2025, and we're enjoying the same brand, same style trailer, same build quality as the ones from 50 years ago, 60 years ago, and I personally think that is one of the most unique aspects of owning an Airstream personally. And what do you guys think?
I think it would. So my mother-in-law gave us a magnet for Christmas this past year, I believe. And it was the Airstream with someone on a bike.
Oh, yeah.
Towing it.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And so I saw it and I was like, oh, that's funny. And I thought she found it because she knew we were in triathlons and did stuff like that. I thought she maybe had it made because it's like a wooden magnet. And then when we toured the Heritage Center, and I saw that there were actually people who were towing their Airstreams on bicycles, and I realized it wasn't something that she made. I learned quite a bit there.
Yeah, yeah.
The icon itself, like, so you go back to Wally Byam and the caravans. The thing in the Heritage Center that I was just so amazed by, and like in my mind, I'm like, we've got to figure out how to get that going with the club is. They were doing trips around the world. I mean, they were taking Airstreams into Egypt and like all over the place. And I'm like, we've got to figure this out again. This is what a wonderful experience for, what was it, like 13 families to go do.
Yeah. That's one of, for Gina and I, our primary way of enjoying our Airstream is not the typical parking situation, off-grid, boondocking, unique parking spots, group events where, we love the urban rallies where you're parking on the streets and, unique aspects of taking your Airstream and sticking it into a neat little spot. And, to your point about the caravans that were in other countries and other regions of the world and things like that, it's, you just got this utility with you, your home, your comforts of home, everything you need right there with you. And to go out on those adventures, no matter what they are, that's happening in the club right now with the way that they're doing the caravans and some of the rallies that are happening, but it's still not at the same level it was back in the day. And that's what I think makes...
Well, that was what Wally anticipated with the Airstream.
Yeah, well...
was getting out there and living life in your Airstream.
Yeah, just seeing where the road takes you and going after that adventure. And that's what caused the brand to become iconic, I think, over the years.
Yeah, I want to go back for just a second, if I can, to the bicycle that's there in the Heritage Center. And I cannot remember the man's last name or how to pronounce. I remember his name, but I don't know how to pronounce it. But it's Alfred, like Torno. I don't know, but he was a cyclist, and he went to the Airstream factory out there in California, and they set that bike up a special way so that it could have the Airstream hooked onto it. But the purpose in that was to show how light the Airstream travel trailer was, that it could be towed with a bike. And I think they did it in California somewhere, like
I forget
at
where,
the
like
airport or somewhere.
Yeah,
but it was a long
photo.
straight. There was a long straightaway that they did that on. But now they had to, specially fit the bike. And I think, is that not the bike, or it's a replica?
No, it's a replica
of that bike.
Yeah. But that because they let you sit on that bike there, or at least we got to sit on it.
Yeah,
at the Heritage Center.
I didn't know that was an option.
Yep.
Yeah, we did.
I sat on it. I might have been doing something wrong. I don't know, but I sat on it.
Oh my gosh!
We crossed over the stanchions. We walked over the thing and then sat on the bike.
We just crossed right at it. No, we were there for the grand opening, so there was a lot of people who did that.
I didn't see the sign that said "Do not sit on the bike."
There wasn't.
Do not touch the display. I didn't see that.
I think they encouraged it for photos. But anyway, that's what I wanted to say that before we got off on something else.
It's a neat picture for sure. And that
Heritage Center is amazing. I know we talk about it.
We do.
And listener, I know out there, you've said, God, y'all keep saying that. Well, we're going to keep saying it until you go see it, because it is amazing.
It is.
Yes.
Over the top. Yep.
It's wonderful.
The other thing for me is I just get excited anytime I see another Airstream. I mean, you're running down the road and,
I'm the waving maniac with the other Airstream coming our way.
I like it.
We are too.
Flash the
anytime
lights.
we sorry, go ahead.
I just said flash our lights.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we ended up, we were at the campground in Sault Ste. Marie, and it was like, there was 3 other Airstreams there, and you just get drawn to wanting to talk to other people and see what they're up to. And what are you guys doing? Where are you from?
Yep.
And I love that part of it. One
of our early podcast episodes was with a buddy of ours that we met in 2019 in the Grand Tetons. He has a 27-foot International, and he was parked right behind us in the loop at the campground. And this was a dry camping loop. We didn't have any utilities, but we had dedicated sites. And we parked our rig in the site kind of at a weird angle so that our campsite could face the mountains.
The Tetons.
Yeah. And so that put our big windows that face the back of the camper facing out to the road of the loop. And he was walking by, going to the garbage can with a bag of garbage, and we spoke to each other through the windows, and an hour and a half probably went by, and he stood there. We talked for an hour and a half through the windows while he's holding a bag of garbage, and we invite him in to come into the camper, and he comes in, and we're not talking like a huge bag. It was
like a grocery bag.
Yeah, like a grocery bag of garbage. And he comes in and he sits on the couch for about another hour
with the garbage right between his feet.
Yeah, and we're talking Airstream the whole time, pretty much.
Great.
And had we had a different brand of trailer, or he one or the other, we'd have never met that guy. And he's a cool friend of ours now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that like dog owners can have that same kind of story where you're walking the dog and you standing there chatting with somebody for an hour holding a bag of dog poop. I mean, isn't that the funny thing about campgrounds? But it was the same experience we had with our buddy Brian. Well, we've been chatting it up now for over an hour, and I say that almost every episode because here's the thing. It's like where I'm positioned, I'm just talking in my microphone looking at Gina, and then I glance over at the little recording studio thing, and it's got a counter on it. And the last time I looked at it, it was like 23 minutes. Yeah.
We haven't talked an hour. Have we talked an hour?
Yeah.
Does not feel like it. We have so many more questions.
Well, we'll have to do another session. We'll invite you into the mobile podcast recording studio at International and have another chat. How about that?
That'd be awesome.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
we're also going to try to do a happy hour for everyone too, right?
We're going to try our best.
To everyone who's been on our podcast.
Yeah. We have a pretty unique interior with ours. It's not the typical Airstream setup, and it's people come in and sit on the couch, and some people think it's like a therapy couch. It's not a therapy couch.
Sometimes it can be.
Yeah.
Some of these podcasts have been therapy podcasts. Yeah. But that's okay. I like it.
Well, we've taken up enough of your time this evening. I know you want to get out and go for a nice evening walk and let the bugs eat you up. And I'm sure the dogs have got to go out. So thank you so much for coming on our podcast. We can't wait to meet you in person, and definitely hope to see you down the road one day and hang out for sure.
Absolutely. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. We appreciate it. And we're so excited to meet y'all in International.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, it's coming up quickly, too.
I know. When we got the tickets, we thought we're one of the, we're procrastinating, right?
Like we're one of the last ones.
And we're like, but it's still so far off, but we did it. And then now it seems like, shoot, it's just right around the corner.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're excited to meet you guys too. And again, thanks for the time, and we'll see you down the road.
Thanks, you guys. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks,
Gina. They were fun.
They are a lot of fun.
Man,
I love hearing them laugh.
Yeah, well, they were laughing.
Giggle.
They were laughing at us.
Is that what they were doing?
But listener, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We ran a little long today, but the conversation was fun, and we let it go, and and there's nothing wrong with that. What's an extra 10 minutes among friends, right?
It's nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. So
don't pay attention to the time. Just listen to the fun.
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we invite you to come on and be a guest of our podcast. You can send us a message to info@therivetedfox.com and say, hey, I want to come on and have fun with you guys like the CajunMile did.
Yeah.
And would love to have you.
Yes. And by the way, we didn't talk about this. We should have, but we will put their socials in so you guys can find them and follow their journeys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We'll do all that.
Mm-hmm.
So, everybody, we'll see you down the road. Thanks for listening, and we can't wait to see you on the next. We're not going to see you.
We're not going to see you. See them?
They won't. We won't see them.
We might see them sometime.
Yeah, but we won't see them while they're listening.
No,
that doesn't work that way.
No,
not on this deal.
They can hear us.
Yeah,
turn us on. Turn us on, listener, as you go down the road.
I mean, we're only 45, 46 episodes into this. We'll get the hang of it eventually.
Sometime we're going to get something right.
All right. See you down the road, everybody.